Hello, my name is Jimmy Iglesias, and today I'll be doing a performance test on the AC system of a 2015 Kia Soul. Few safety things I will need before is my safety glasses, which I have in hand. The mask is pretty much just for COVID, and also I don't want to be sprayed in the face with Freon. And also my MAC certification. You will need this by law to work on anything that is Freon, R12, R134A, and the newest one, 1234YF. Before we begin the AC performance test, we are going to look at the label to make sure when we hook up our gauges are correct with the Freon that is inside, for there is no cross-contamination. And as you can see, it is located under this particular vehicle's under the hood. And we have R134A and 550 grams of Freon and 25 grams of PEG oil. Our high is going to be mostly marked. Some caps will not be marked if they are missing or if they've been replaced. This particular one has not been replaced, so it has the H. And over here in the far back will be has L, which is that'll be our low. And it'll be right next to the evaporator and firewall. And that there below will be the compressor. So it's located where the belt is. Huge part of the AC. And when performing the AC test, our vehicle must be always started. So let's start it up. And we're going to move over here, and we're going to make sure that it's on the coldest. Going to turn on the fan. We want to have it on recirculation to make sure that it gets going quicker. Gonna make sure our AC is activated. When it's not activated, it won't light up and the clutch won't engage. So you want that on, make sure the clutch is engaged. Max AC, you want it to blow you directly at the face. When you're in here, you can also check, make sure all the doors inside are working. Make sure it blows in all directions. And make sure that also that all the fan speeds are working. You want to make sure it's on the highest where the AC can get started. And also make sure that it's going good. Right now it's about 51 degrees. And now it's just barely started, so you want to make sure it gets circulated before you make any diagnostics or anything like that. You want to make sure it gets all through the system. We're also going to make sure that our compressor clutch is engaged. So if it looks like it is engaged, so that is working properly. Make sure it gets through all the system. And also, if you want to make sure that the air going through the condenser is good, you want to run it up just above the 2000 mark RPM. Get it going. I usually like to get it going for like maybe 10 to 15 minutes to make sure that everything is circulating, everything is going properly, and the temperature is dropping, and the vehicle is at its performance temperature as well. Another thing to do is make sure your windows are rolled up. Keep that cold air circulating inside. This will confirm the lowest temperature it possibly can in a vehicle. We have been now running it for about 10 minutes, and we have about 50 degrees. The normal temperature reading will be about 35 to 45 degrees. This particular model always stays at 50 degrees. But when I drive it on the road, it shows about 45 degrees. That is because more air goes to the condenser, which helps it keep it cool faster. Now these are AC gauges. Blue will be low always, and the red will be their high. And the best part is, pretty much, if you put it on the wrong one, it will not fit. And I'll show you that right now. But before I show, always have your connections on close. Make sure you never open it, or a Freon will get all your hands and also be released to the atmosphere, which is bad for the environment. For an extra layer of protection, and you will be wearing gloves, make sure I do not get burned by the Freon or irritation to the skin. And make sure you have those valves on closed. When you get them new, they always have them on open to fit in the package. So you want to make sure those are closed always before you don't get burned by the Freon, or it doesn't not be released to the atmosphere. This one's at high. See what happens when I try to put it on? It will not fit. It just won't fit. They made sure that if you do it yourself, you will not mess up and put your high to your low and low to your high. They will always just fit in that one. So we are going to connect our low to low. Make sure you pop that around. You feel it click. You'll pull on it just slightly, and you'll make sure it stays on there pretty well, and make sure it wiggles. Close to demonstration. There's the high. On. Make sure it clicks. There's that clicking sound. Good. Put it around. Pull it a little slightly, and it will not come up. You gotta do the same thing for your gauges on top. Make sure they're closed, both sides. Make sure that you have the middle one connected where no Freon gets loose when you open them. You can tell when they're open, your gauges will start to show you where the pressure PSI is. And if you look closely, you can tell where that this ones will be used for R12, R502, and R134. That's the one we are working on, so that's one we're gonna look on. And here are our readings for the high to low side. About 35 PSI on the low side. Oops. Slightly above 150 PSI. And we have our readings and determination. We're gonna shut the vehicle off. We're gonna turn off the AC. Turn off the motor blowers. Turn off the vehicle. And we're gonna go ahead and close our valves. Make sure that left is closed, right is open. If you forget, there's always a picture right here, show you what directions. Close it, close it, close it, close it. And make sure it's fully closed. Don't want to turn them more. And upon removing them, you gotta make sure that you look away. Make sure you don't get any Freon in your eyes, because sometimes it will spray out. Make sure you screw these back on. Make sure that the next person who works on your AC will know how to identify which is low and which is high. And upon the readings of the temperature inside, the speed of the lower fans, the actuator doors, and our temperature gauges right here, says that this vehicle is in good AC proper condition, and It's I would recommend pretty much an AC service at least about once a year to keep it lubricated, and also get clean freon in there. It will not hurt it. It'll actually make it last longer and better, in my opinion. But this will be up to the customer's decision. So, but this car is in good shape. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you have a good day.